Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today you will see a little bit of a kill compilation, scene compilation of the Isuzu, and you'll only see the good parts. Maybe some parts that were not excellent, but still acceptable, or showing in some cases some things that just don't work always quite the way you expected. I want to make a video about this because this ship is very roughly said the Japanese counterpart to the K2, just in modern, but heavily pays for it. And it finds itself, because of the battle rating, and also because somebody at Gaijin tried to balance it apparently, in a very awkward spot. And it is therefore appropriate for me to speak out a little bit of a warning, because the stat card on this ship looks actually pretty good. And you might think, maybe this is just like a Project 159, just Japanese. No, not quite. And while some of the statistics are absolutely amazing and are actually, objectively speaking, awesome, the way that it plays out, oof, big oof. We're talking about a ship that is more or less a pimped up patrol boat, has no armor, has to spawn with destroyers, has a battle rating of 4.0, meaning all the up tiers that you'll ever experience in one ship, versus some of the best destroyers that there are that just wipe you clean off the surface of the oceans without any sort of trouble. And then this ship costs you 270,000 RP to unlock. Then it costs you a further 690,000 silver lines to purchase it, another 200,000 silver lines to get it into a crew, and another 690,000 silver lines to get the expert qualification, to have a bit higher chance of surviving anything, a bit more performance with repairing. But honestly, the question is if it is worth it. And again, the K2 has a lower battle rating but a higher rank. This thing is ranked 2 end of the line ships, and they are most of the time really good, especially for their battle rating, which is true if you would fight patrol boats, and some of the patrol boats that you can fight are pretty nasty as well. And again, you don't have armor, and so always up tiered, always a DD spawn, and then you only have 3-inch guns. But as you can see, they are really rapid firing, and you can gun down aircraft, you can down some destroyers, and that sounds great. But as you can see, you also get your guns jammed because the overheat is really nasty, really frantic, and then the cooldown is really long. So again, somebody at Gaijin seemingly have tried to balance this. And if this is down to historical documents, what a trash design. I cannot really word it otherwise. So they overheat quickly, they have a long cooldown. And then you have 3 different, very useful ammo types. But you only can use 2. You can only choose 2 for going into battle. And that really hurts the ship sometimes. And I want to talk you through right now. So first of all, the stock HE shell, the 76mm HC Mark 27, has a muzzle velocity of 823 meters per second, which is not bad. And then the explosive mass is a pound of TNT, or 500 grams of TNT, 8mm of penetration at any distance, at any angle. Then, as a tier 1 upgrade, you have the 76mm APHE. Also 823 meters per second muzzle velocity, 64 grams of TNT equivalent, and you can pen at 5,000 meters 69 millimeters of armor, and at 1,000 meters 112 millimeters of armor. So this is good, especially versus those American ships, American destroyers, Fletcher class, etc., that have this anti-fragmentation side belt, if you know what I'm talking about, that just absorbs completely your 76mm HE, so you at least can knock out the propulsion. And I'll have a few clips here and there where I'll really take on Fletcher class destroyers and get the better of it. And then the third shell type is the one that makes this so promising, because it is the 76mm high explosive variable time fuse anti-aircraft shell, or flak shell with proximity fuse fuse. The TNT filler goes down from 500 grams for the stock HE shell down to 353 grams. only creating 7mm of penetration. And that is then really bad if you have to switch constantly between the aircraft and ship HE or anti-ship HE, and you don't have then the armor piercing available because you have to decide for yourself 2 out of the 3 available shell types. I go with the HE and the proximity fuse HE shell. The next thing is the radar. The radar. It sounds great, you know, and you then can get a lock on below 5,000 meters, and then you can hope that you get a good lock, and then you just aim at the aircraft. And sometimes you get those beautiful scenes like this. But look how many shells it took, how many hits it took to bring this aircraft down. This is because this is not a 5-inch 38 proximity fuse bomb that you sling in the air from aircraft perspective, but it's just, you know, tickling them to death. And then you first have to get into the range where the proximity fuse just activates and then also deals some damage. So this is not really effective, and the radar lock and the lead indicator, they are not perfect, and they just really require you to lead the lead indicator and correct constantly, and the shells lose so much mass velocity over distance. So you think to yourself, wow, this is really great, but effectively sometimes you get the kills, most of the time you don't. And again, remember, there is this insane overheat of the guns, so you just cannot keep on barraging that one sector and hope for a lucky hit. At least you have enough ammunition for it. Then the next thing are the torpedoes, and oh boy, the statistics gone wild on them. So you know that I really often talk about how awesome the long lances are, but the long lances have 2 different advantages. First of all, they have a huge bursting charge, they have a huge range, 20 kilometers, and they also, as another advantage, are really fast with, I guess, 91 kilometers per hour. So the Type 93 long lances, fantastic. And on a lot of the destroyers, you have up to 16 of them. On the Isuzu, as a battle rating 4.0, more or less modern ship, you have something different. You only have 4 Type 89 torpedoes, 533 millimeters of caliber. And all the more surprising are the statistics, because they have a maximum speed in water of 102 kilometers per hour. That's really fast. That's faster than the long lances. Now you think, oh, they are then short range. No, they're actually doubling the long lances range. 38 kilometers of range is just absolutely insane. Maybe it's a typo, but no, I've hit ships at a long range, right? And then there is still the bursting charge, or the explosive mass, of 267 kilograms. So they are really fast. I think they are the fastest torpedoes in the game. They have by far the longest range, and they also hit really hard. Shame you only have 4 of them, and the firing angles are relatively limited. But I'm not done yet, because as you probably saw in the thumbnail, there are also rockets available. And in fact, you have 22 of the 320mm RUR-4 anti-submarine rocket launcher. And he is not really super firing, but behind the front turret. And you think, ah, that's the selling factor. Haha, 113 kilograms of explosive mass. 99mm of penetration. It surely will delete everything it hits. Yeah, if it hits anything, because the maximum speed is 85 meters per second. It has a maximum range, and it is the most useless equipment that there has ever been on a ship. Because when there is a ship, you have to get to suicidally close range. We're talking about what, 200, 300 meters? Okay, I'm not even joking, I'm not exaggerating. And then it's super slow. And by that time, 40mm have just disabled the entirety of your ship. In fact, I think a 40mm in this place would be absolutely awesome. And so I would go as far as to say that the predecessor of this ship, at battle rating 3.3, the Chikugo, is a better ship, but I was not really impressed with this one either. It has more torpedoes. It also has then 2 40mm Bofors L60 guns. Doesn't have this useless rocket launcher. And so you can imagine why I think that it is, especially for that battle rating, better. So what we have here is a ship that costs you so much RP and so much silver lines to get. Then it has to spawn with destroyers, which it has no chance versus them in open combat, except if you surprise them. And watch this. I held my fire till I was sure that he has noticed me, and then I was directly aiming for his turrets, breaking the first one and then breaking them consecutive. So again, then I have to deal with the overheat, and I have no torpedoes available because I used them before. So I have to go for the guns, and then a lucky hit on them, for whatever reason, deletes a quarter of his crew. Yeah, pretty lucky me. Yeah. So we have insane torpedoes, we have really great guns versus patrol boats, not that effective versus destroyers. You're pretty fragile, you're not really that fast. What is your speed? 48 kilometers per hour? So, especially in encounter mode, this ship is an absolute joke, a complete waste of experience in silver lines. Just go with something else. You can research multiple cruisers for that RP, and you have much more fun with them. Maybe in some dark, unforeseeable future, this ship has a point when, you know, it spawns then with an intermediate spawn together with the K2, together with the Project 159, etc. But I stand by the point that the destroyer spawn absolutely ruins it. I've requested an intermediate spawn for years and nothing has come of it, and the responsible people at Gaijin have been kind of deaf on their ears, and it just shows that I was right with most of my criticism throughout the years, resulting in Gaijin being forced to implement bots as targets and to fill matches, and that can't be our goal. So this is one of those weird ships that just has no place in War Thunder and is implemented to I don't know what for. Yes, it's unique, yes, it's cool at first, but you get tired of it pretty quickly. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about this ship. I hope that you give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and as usual, we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.